こんにちは、いふこです。パート2になります。こちらの本ですね。では、ご覧ください。
At 5:30, Becky, Sue, and I switched off our computers and put on our coat. Business at Goring's finished promptly from us, while the others, the actual solicitors, stayed later. I said bye to Becky and Sue as chirpily as I could. They scurried
Where are you?
They
I'm too far. Scurried. Yes.
Scurried off
Sort of quickly, let's get out of here.
from the office. They scurried off happily together, calling good night. Left alone in the warm, cramped reception, I walked slowly around, checking the switches, my head singing with tiredness. On my way out, I dropped the letters I'd typed off at Brian's office for him to sign. "Thank you," he said, looking them over. Right, then, yep. Oh dear, oh, no. He handed the letters back to me. "Nina, you've spelled client as a clinet 3 times. And there are 2 there's instead of there. And you haven't put the address on this one." I tried to say sorry, but my throat had closed up for some idiotic reason. I took the letters back wordlessly, hanging my head. Is that hanging my head means
Yeah.
The head down, hanging my head. Do them tomorrow. They're not urgent. They're not urgent. Everything all right. Everything all right today, Nina? Brian said, watching me, his hands resting tightly on the desk, fingertips touching. Sure, I said. Fine, then. Just one more. You've put dear Miss Baggs. Her name is Barr. Miss Barr, I mean. That's really quite different, Nina. Mr. Robin, I said suddenly, swallowing hard. Can I ask you something?
Swallowing hard.
Swallowing hard. Sorry, I said suddenly, swallowing hard. Can I ask you something? He nodded. Of course, my dear. I wasn't even sure how to frame the question. If you thought someone who was supposed to be dead actually wasn't, could you find out if they weren't? Brian Robson didn't flinch. To his internal credit, a bit difficult to read. If you'd previously been told that they were dead. Yes, he put his fingers together. Regarding the death itself, when and where are we talking? The Amazon jungle. The Amazon jungle, I said. I knew I must sound completely mad. March 1986. I see. Well, that makes it a little harder, but I'm sure one could. He looked at me carefully. Look, Nina. I interrupted. I mean, maybe there's a register you can check if someone was from here and died abroad. Not really. The death certificate, if one was issued, Do you know? I shook my head. Was there a death notice? Sort of. A newspaper article in the Times. Well, the Times isn't usually wrong, Nina. He gave a small laugh. Didn't used to be anywhere? Anyway. Didn't used to be anyway. Yep. I stood on one foot, then the other, and realized he was waiting to go home. Look, never mind. It's probably not important. Anything I can help you with? Good, kind Mr. Robin.
Robson.
Robson. Good, kind Mr. Robson. He'd bought himself a pudding.
Pudding?
この単語はですね、パタですね。ですね、パッと読むとプータってなったんですけども、これはスペイン語でですね、プータっていうと、悪い人に、悪いプータとかって言って悪く言うときあるんですね。それは娼婦っていう意味なんですけども、なんで発音がPU をパじゃなくてプーって言ったらプータに似てたので笑っています。
Pâtə. A Pâtə for his 18th birthday, and when he first moved from Jamaica to Bristol, the local golf club hadn't let him in because of the color of his skin. So he'd taken the putter back and bought some books instead. He didn't know anyone then, so he just stayed at home most evenings reading. Then eventually he reasoned if he was going to stay in he might as well be learning something. So he did a law degree through the Open University. He was 22. I thought of the old lady's dark flashing eyes, the utter intensity with which she'd stared at me. You. I think I'm going crazy, I said. Forget it, it's nothing. Doesn't sound like nothing? Doesn't sound like nothing, he said quietly. His voice was so kind, it sort of filled me a bit. Thanks, I muttered something about being late for my mum. There's a phrase that's the sign of a well-adjusted adult. If ever there was one, and made my escape down the worn linoleum. Liam.
No, it's lino, and it's short for I can't even say it. Linoleum.
Linoleum stairs. Tears.
Do you know what lino is?
Linoleum is it wood?
No, it's plastic.
Plastic
cover those. Sort of a bit cheap if you can't afford something else.
Linoleum. So I made my escape down the worn linoleum stairs, tears stinging my eyes. Tears stinging is stinging means
stinging my eyes. Oh, ouch! Oh, stinging. Like
it's a hurting.
Something. Yes. yes, it's like stinging, which bees sting you.
Yeah.
And so your eyes are all stinging because it's got something in them.
Oh, right. It wasn't supposed to be like this, you see. That's why Brian Robson is sad about me. He's seen my CV. He thinks I should be a professor by now or be given a grant to go and study at Yale. I have the course of the clever people. I have the curse of the clever people. I was offered a place to read English at the Brasenose, where my father went. But I chose University College London instead, because I could stay at home. Isn't that pathetic? I was going to be a teacher. At least that's what I wanted to be. An English teacher, but everyone else around me had other ideas. Yes, of course, my headmistress had said one should have a plan in place. But in your case, my dear, one should also vigorously aim as high as one can. Oh, how disappointed in me she must be. I got my first in English literature. I did an MA in children's literature. I was going to do a PhD. I'd been given a grant by a foundation, and I was all set. Still keen to ensure I didn't take my big brain off to Oxbridge, or worse still America. UCL had assured me I was doctorate material. I even had my mentor, Professor Angell? No. Is a Professor
Angell, or could be Angel. It's a name.
Yeah.
Surname.
So Professor Angel is a bit strange. Angell.
I mean, I've never seen it as a name, but
No.
I think I'd say Angell. That's GLE, isn't it? I suppose Professor Angel, I'd call him.
Professor Angell, take me to one side and tell me that if I liked, I could apply for the D'Souza Fellowship, only awarded once every 5 years.
Awarded.
Only awarded once every 5 years to exceptional students. But in this case, etc. But my merit was falling apart by then, and the whole mess of it all meant, well, anyway, I didn't do the PhD. Though I was the one who left him, Sebastian seemed to emerge from the breakdown of our marriage more energetic than ever.
More what?
More energetic than ever. He just shook it off and went on to great things. His own doctorate and Conrad, good grief, co-authoring a book, lecturing around the world, and I haven't done anything, really, other than this job. I missed the chance to apply for teacher training college 2 years in a row, and then I applied and didn't get in. So I'm really lucky Goring took me on. But my job could be done, and done better by almost anyone. Someone who remembers to order new pens and fixes the printer when labels get jammed. Becky's a trainee solicitor. For all that she spends her whole life booking nail appointments and flicking through mother-care catalogues. Sue is a qualified bookkeeper. She does the books for her restaurant in the evenings. These people have qualifications. Vocations. Is it vocations?
Vocations,
Vocations.
yes. Qualifications and vocations.
Vocations. Even and then they go back west and have whole other lives too. I'm glad.
As well as, when it's got two O's, it means as well as.
As well as.
As opposed to T-O.
Oh. Okay. As well as.
I mean, you don't say as well as, you say two, but
two.
You kind of know that if it's got two O's in it, it means as well as.
As well as. And then they go back west and to have a whole other lives too. I'm glad to have this job, though, and I should be grateful for this quiet, small life, but I'm not. I hate it. I like studying, I like reading. I'm happiest when I'm imagining some world other than the real one, and that's why it's hard to explain to people like Brian Robson, or my teachers at school, or the special counselor I was given at 15, the ones who help gifted children not to turn into crazy psychopathic loners, that I'm not that clever, because I know I'm not. I'm just usually intense. If I'm interested in something, funerary architecture, or Tutankhamun, or Tutankhamun.
これはツタンカーメンのことですね。英語はちょっと違う言い方です。ニッキーのを参考にしてください。
Not
Tutankhamun. In Japanese, it's Tutankhamun. Tutankhamun.
Oh.
So, Tutankhamun, or children's literature, or that brief summer I spent being obsessed with musicals. After Jonas, my best friend from school, got his first role at 17 in a touring production of Calamity Jane, I'm really interested. I suck the lifeblood out of it, a mosquito draining all facts and interest out of it, then I move on. Mum once said I get it from my father. She never talked about him, so I remember this as with every nugget of information about him, like sieving for gold.
Sieving.
Sieving.
It's like piece of material, like the mosquito nets you put up. So you sieve, and then the earth falls through, and then the big bits are caught in the sieve.
So sieving. Sieve.
Sieving.
Sieving.
Yeah, not seven. Sieving.
Sieving.
Mm-hmm.
Sieving. Sieving. Is with it. I just missed it. And once again. Oh, this.
Yes.
Sieving. Like sieving for gold. I had
いや、今教えてもらったのに、またシービングって言ってますが、sieving ですね。
been reprimanded at school.
Reprimanded.
Had been reprimanded at school for correcting a teacher, and she'd been called in to talk about me. I'd overheard her telling Mrs. Paul. I'd overheard her telling Mrs. Paul what they'd said that evening. She just told Mrs. Cousins she was wrong, that it was Austen, not Bronte. Bronte.
One of the Bronte sisters. Do you know?
Bronte?
Do you know the books?
No,
Charlotte Bronte.
Oh.
Yeah. Wasn't it Wuthering Heights? Wuthering Heights.
It's
very well known. She's very well known as a Victorian writer who never left her home, but somehow wrote rather romantic, silly women.
silly women story.
Yeah.
And she's also famous, Austen.
Jane Austen.
Jane Austen.
Yes, they were about the same time.
Okay, so that's the thing. So she just told Mrs. Cousin she was wrong, that it was Austen, not
Bronte.
Turns out she was right, of course, but, oh dear, the way she went about it. I'm afraid she's even more intense than her father. I had been coming down the stairs, and the two of them were having this conversation in the kitchen over a glass of sherry. I took behind the door and watched through the gap. Mrs. Paul was sitting at our kitchen table, and I saw her glancing over, making sure I wasn't there. How do you mean intense, darling? She asked in her comfortable voice. I'm trying to think of how best to describe him, Mum said. He was something of a misfit, her father. Oh, hugely charming, such a big brain, but absolutely crazy to deal with. Yes, a misfit. A misfit? Mrs. Paul had appeared to take this information and muse over it. I see, such a satisfying word, don't you think? Which meant I knew that explains a lot. Limping in my boots towards the tube, the evening's newly light, I looked up at the faintly blue sky, veiled with white drifts of wispy cloud. It was getting colder, and shivered. 2 years since the divorce, 6 months since I'd moved home again. These last few months, usually at this point in the afternoon, I'd feel some sense of achievement. Another day nearly over, one more to mark off on the calendar. The thing is, though, I had no idea why I was marking days off, or what I was counting down towards.
Right. It's funny, I come over all sleepy. I understand why mothers read to their children, because
Am I sleeping?
it's that sort of, gentle sleep, and you just a couple of times I yeah. Could you move a little bit that way?
Yeah.
I'm getting
It's a bit getting
cooked.
hot.
Yes.
パート2は以上になります。ニッキーはいい風に言ってもらったんですけど、gentle voice と言っていただいたんですが、ちょっと声が弱いですね。やっぱりなんか、意識してないとやっぱりこう、自然に読むのに集中するとなんかもごもご言ってしまいますね。なので、ちょっと意識してもうちょっとしっかりと声を出したいなと思います。ということで、パート3に続きます。では、See you in the part 3. Bye!